This is Boston Chris with another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show.
Louise here.
Descript.
Featuring all genres and styles of entertainment.
And coming to ETX ROCKS.
Let's hear it from Louise, please.
From the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond.
Out of the box with ETX ROCKS.
It's awesome.
We keep them coming.
$5, that's pocket change.
Well, hey, y'all, this is Haley McDaniel. Are y'all ready for this?
ETX ROCKS Show is the greatest show of all time, okay?
We are ETX ROCKS.
The ETX ROCKS Show is the best show of all time, say? The other shows, you're good, you're real good. As long as we're around, you'll be second best, say?
Cut.
Hey guys, this is Rich O'Toole, and thank you for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Nathan Hunnicutt, and you're watching the ETX ROCKS Show. Today we're sitting here with Brad Maule. Hi, Nathan. And we're going to be talking to him about quite a few things. So if you don't know Brad Maule, which most likely you do, he was on General Hospital for what, 20 years?
22 years.
22 years. And you've been on many other daytime shows, and you've done movies, and we'll get into that.
Okay.
But I was reading, I thought it was interesting, and Wikipedia is easy to, I think because it's on Wikipedia, it's true, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
So when you were on General Hospital, they were going to kill you off the first year,
Mm-hmm.
and you actually had fans within that year who stopped that.
It saved my life.
Yeah. So they wrote letters and said, "Don't kill off Dr. Tony Jones."
Yeah.
And then what's fascinating is how long you stayed on after that.
Well, the thing is, once they figured out that each fan letter is worth 1,000 people supposedly that care that much.
Okay.
So when they started getting a bunch of fan mail for killing me, then after that they just killed me over and over and over.
Okay.
Because that made them popular or whatever.
Right. So you mean they threatened to kill you over?
No, they killed me occasionally. I mean, they'd shoot me.
Oh, but you wouldn't die.
No, I wouldn't die. I would just
It was
be in the
attempted.
hospital for a few months.
So they would attempt it.
Yeah.
And then so if they had fan mail that said, maybe you should let him go.
And I'm sure they did.
Then they'd pull the cord or something. And speaking about being in West Texas, just over the border there, you spent some time in New Mexico, and you recorded some music there.
Actually,
Is that when you first started recording music?
yes. I was going to school in West Texas State, which was in Canyon, Texas at the time, and I was in the musical Texas up in Paladuro Canyon, and there was a recording studio and a producer over in Clovis, New Mexico, Norman Petty, and
Is he related to
Petty Studios.
relation to Tom?
I don't think so, but he's actually a lot more famous than Tom in his own way,
Right.
because he recorded Buddy Holly and all these different people.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Anyway,
Huge history then.
it's a huge history, and I met all of these people at this recording studio toward the end of his life, as he was older and stuff. But they gave me a chance to record my music for the first time. And then also met, at that time, Billy Stull had a recording studio in Lubbock. And so I worked with him. And out of that, Lloyd Maines, who's a very famous pedal steel player,
Sure.
he played. I was 17, 18 years old, and he played on my first demo, and actually has played on every record except one that I've done since then.
Wow. And so I know you performed on Oprah. Did you perform one of those songs?
Yes, I did. We may have to cut here, but I'm trying to think.
It was entertaining, I know that much.
Yeah. A lot of the kids, I did write that song. I've written a bunch of them. But the funny thing is when I teach classes here at Stephen F. Austin, the first semester kids are always like, ha ha, we saw you on Oprah, and you're so funny. And I'm like, well, I tell you what, when you get on Oprah, I'll laugh at you.
Right. And they're like, oh, okay.
yeah.
So here we are actually here in the film department of Stephen F. Austin State University, also known as SFA, and you've been teaching here for a few years.
This is my 12th year.
12 years, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I met you a few years ago, and it seemed like you had just come to town.
Well, you met me about 10 or 12 years ago,
Okay.
probably.
So, yeah, it's been a while.
You were like 20, and
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was 20 10 years ago.
I was 30.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And so you're teaching here, and you actually work with the students to, as part of a grade, part of them earning a degree, they get to film a movie and edit and all that.
Yeah, we're actually one of the only schools in the country, actually, film programs, that does a full-length feature film every summer. So you can go to USC or NYU or whatever, none of those schools do a full-length feature. And it's just something we do here.
And that's what you're teaching, so it makes total sense.
It makes total sense, but you know, out there they might want to have $1 million or $20 million budget.
Right.
Here we operate off of about $30,000.
Right.
But because of digital filmmaking, just like you're shooting me with today, it's not near as expensive to make a film anymore. You just have to work.
Right. Yeah. And then the editing process is a huge part of that.
Right.
And so that is also part of the grade.
And that's what we teach here also. We're different in that most film schools teach you about film criticism, about the philosophy of films, more the aesthetics of filmmaking.
Right.
We're more of a down to the bones, like we teach kids to be grips and gaffers and to be editors, and we're more like the technical aspects of it all.
Sure. So, whereas a lot of education is strictly theoretical,
Theory, yes.
Really the best education is, of course, hey, here's some ideas, here's the theory, but the other side of it, where you actually learn and can improve and become valuable with what you're doing, is through practice.
Yeah, we're a hands-on school.
Yeah.
And our experience has been, we have like a 90% rate of employment once our kids graduate.
Wow.
Because you go out to the real world as a filmmaker, there's no practicing your job. You either get a job and they keep you on it, or you don't.
Right.
Our kids have already done all of this kind of work. They've already done editing, they've kicked cables, they've done all that, so that when they get their job, I think they're more prepared oftentimes.
Yeah.
They may not know as much about the theory of filmmaking, but like if you go, and not to diss anybody, but a lot of schools, you won't even touch a camera or learn to edit until you're a senior. Here,
that seems funny.
it seems funny, but it's true.
Yeah.
Here, the minute you take our beginning class, you make a short movie within the first 3 weeks of being here. And those movies are not that good, but they get better because the more you do it, the better you get.
Sure. So then you're faced with the reality of, I really don't know so much when it comes to, someone might want to, they think, hey, I want to grow up and be a director, and it does take a lot of learning and expertise. So while you're teaching these things, you have separate classes on acting, correct?
Yeah, I teach for the theater department, acting for the camera,
Okay.
which is a completely different form of acting than for the stage.
Right.
Even though in its essence, you're still trying to present a lie as the truth, which is what acting is.
Right.
But on stage, you always have to reach whoever's sitting in the back row.
Right.
On camera, it's more like a lie detector. If you're telling the truth, the camera is okay with it. If you start lying, the camera detects that also. So you don't have to act per se.
Right.
Like I don't have to be scared of you.
Right.
I just have to be scared
You
of
have
you.
to convince the camera you're scared.
Yeah.
Or the people
So it's a
behind
much more subtle form of, all of it's a lie. But,
Sure. So when you're on film and you're mic'd, you can whisper.
And that's another
But
thing
you
they
can't
don't get.
whisper
on stage.
On stage, right?
In the same way, if I want an audience to pay attention to just you while I'm talking, on stage, that means I've got to put a spotlight on you or
Right.
put you off in the distance to get the audience attention.
Right.
But on camera, I just do a close-up of you, and even though you're not talking, the audience is sitting there, look what he's thinking.
Right. Yeah.
So we manipulate.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And that's something that people you know, people don't go around thinking about how do they do this or why do they do this. So anyone in the world can apply at SFA to be in the program.
Yes,
Right.
and they do.
And they do. Okay. So you have people from different countries, different states, and I guess you have in-state and out-of-state tuition and all that.
If they're from out of state, we'll find them like a little bit of extra money or something.
Right. Find them
Yeah.
a job or a scholarship, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have a master's program, or do you prime people and get them ready for if they want to do that?
No, they can take a BA, a BFA, and we also have an MFA.
Really?
And for filmmaking, that's as far as you can go. You leave here after 3 years, most of the time it takes 3 years, with the equivalent of a doctor's degree.
Okay.
So most other schools, you have to get a master's and then an MFA. But here, in 3 years, you can become the
Oh,
equivalent
so the
of a doctor.
MFA is 3 year.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's right. Okay. Wow.
No.
So that's
That's doing it pretty fast, but you can do it.
right. But to have a 3-year master's degree, that's it has to be fairly intense.
Yes. Well, you have to, in our filmmaking program, you have to make 3 short films and 1 full-length feature film. And a full-length feature film involves 6 months of pre-production and all the work that goes with it, the actual month of shooting the movie. People think you shoot movies in a set amount of time and that's it. But if you ever look at the credits on the end of a movie,
Yeah.
especially a big budget movie these days, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of people working on each little part of it: color correction, sound effects, Foley, there's people to find locations, there's horse wranglers, there's even fly wranglers, there's it's
Sure.
CGI and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you have to do that by yourself, believe me, when you get that MFA, you've worked it and earned it.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Because a kid will spend almost a whole year and a half working alone trying to make that movie.
So if someone wants to see the movies that have been filmed here at SFA, can they go to a certain website and buy those movies?
We're not allowed to sell them,
Okay.
but they're in film festivals. You can go to SFA Film Networking on Facebook, and you can see most of our short films the students do and things like that. But film-wise, you can go on, from our graduates right now, you can go on Netflix and you can see Flutter. That's a film that our graduates, students, people that have graduated have
Sure.
done. There's a movie out in theaters now. Let's see, 200 Hours is coming out next year that Philip Guzman did. Dead Awake is currently in release. That's a movie that we did.
That sounds scary.
It is a scary movie, because that's the way a lot of young filmmakers with low budgets, his is in the $2 million range.
That's a low budget.
It's low budget. Do you know that
Yeah.
movies cost? I mean, nowadays if you go see Guardians of the Galaxy, it costs $250 million to make, whatever.
Yeah. Wow. So
I ask my students often, I'm like, because they talk about making a, $1 million budget film.
right.
And I'm like, have you ever seen $1 million? Have you ever seen $1,000?
I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Napoleon Dynamite cost $50,000 to. I mean, it looks like it cost $50,000 to film.
There are some like that,
And,
yeah.
and they caught a break with that one. But I don't know if that's true. But it doesn't have any kind of special effects. It's very,
Yeah, it's just a little film.
very basic.
Well, I know Blair Witch Project
Yeah.
was $75,000.
Well, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
And Moonlight, that won Best Picture this year, was I believe $1.2 million.
Okay.
So it can be done.
Yeah.
It's just
So $1.2 million is wholesale. That's
$1.2
very
million
cheap.
is like the low ball,
It's like buying a car with no engine
pretty much no wheels.
type of budget. Yeah.
Now, but here's what they do. Once a studio gets it, then it starts into the money machine. Like if a movie costs, say, $20 million to make, that's a low budget Hollywood movie. You add on 3 times, so it's $60 million by the time it goes through distribution and through the studios washing all that money and doing everything else.
Right.
So if you ever watch a movie called Bowfinger with Steve Martin,
I've heard. Yeah.
there's a joke in it where he goes, yeah, but it really, everybody knows that it only takes $2,500 to make a movie. He said the rest of that's just fluff.
Yeah.
So that's the way we operate here.
Okay.
We have a little cash box with 25 $100 bills in it.
Where's
It's actually single dollar bills. We have 2,500 singles.
Okay. That's awesome. So the movie that you're working on currently, you already have cast the movie.
Right.
And what is it called?
Glenn's Gotta Go.
Glenn's Gotta Go, and it's
a sweet little movie that takes place in East Texas about a sensitive East Texas college kid who comes home for the summer and he's just trying to escape the heat of East Texas, and through a series of complications he ends up having to go live with his grandmother and her brand new husband and try to save his grandmother from the devious grandfather.
And his name is Glenn?
Yeah, Glenn's Gotta Go.
Glenn's Gotta Go. And it's a
It's
comedy.
It's a dark comedy.
There's
comedy. Murder, mayhem, bunny rabbits.
So you can't. I'm sure you don't want to say if a goat.
A goat.
I'm sure you don't want to say whether Glenn actually goes or not.
Well, Glenn's gotta go.
He's gotta go.
He's gotta go.
Okay.
It's just how he goes you don't know.
Okay. Interesting. So that's maybe part of the twist in the movie.
It's fun to watch. It's like riding a roller coaster in the dark.
Yeah.
And we've had some really interesting luck. We don't have enough money to bring in stars or whatever, but Ruth Buzzy, who was on Laugh-In in the 70s, through a fluke, she read the script, she and her husband did, and she's going to be our grandmother. She's 85 years old, she's the coolest lady, she's funny, and she's just like gave us a gift and said, hey, I'll do it. So we're real excited about it. And then we're bringing in Levy Isaacs, who is American Society of Cinematographers. And he's done, I think it was 3 seasons of Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
He's a cinematographer primarily, but he did Mean Girls, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's done Children of the Corn, he's done all of these movies that have been very successful, including Little Rascals movie, the last remake.
Yeah, Bryce, you saw that.
Yeah.
Little Rascals?
Yeah.
He's a famous filmmaker, but what he does is he brings his 40 or 50 years worth of Hollywood experience and whips these students into shape.
Yeah.
So he uses our students as crew members.
Okay, so that's also part of, so in a sense, maybe unofficially, he's like a visiting professor.
He is a visiting
professor.
professor.
He is a visiting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we bring one in every year.
Okay.
And this is his 2nd year to come in. But what we try to do is give them a professional experience by
So when
bringing
you
in
live here, a visiting professor, they would live here during the semester?
just for that 1 month while he makes that movie.
Okay.
And then the rest of the year, it's up to us to edit it and color correct it and get it all done.
Nice. That's awesome. So the movies that you do here, do they end up going to different film festivals?
Right.
So
We've
you
got
got
one.
the Nacogdoches Film Festival.
Yeah. But we have Camino, which was released last year from here. And it's won the Fort Worth Film Festival. And it's been in just probably 10 or 15 festivals all across the United States.
So you can't sell these movies because they're
student films.
Student films.
Yeah. But some of them, like Camino, was made by a graduate student. It was his graduate project. So once he's done with school, we have the film to show to our prospective students. But he and his writing partner, John Hughes, if they go out and some Hollywood studio wants to buy their film and distribute it, that's great, good for them. We won't make any money out of it.
Yeah.
But that adds, every time they see the name SFA on these films, that adds to our student body.
Sure, sure. So, so some of the movies can be purchased to be viewed, but like All Good Years that you did in was it 2009?
Something like that.
That one. So if someone wants to just watch it, is there a way for them to do that? Other than the short films that you can log in and see?
Well, I know it shows on the Channel 2 here on Suddenlink and stuff. They play it all the time on there.
Okay.
But as far as it being in wide release or being for sale somewhere, it's not. The only movie that we've ever done a co-production with was with Joe Lansdale, who wrote Bubba Hotep and Happen Leonard. He has a series on now.
Yeah.
We did a movie called Christmas with the Dead that his son wrote, and then
I thought he wrote that.
no, he wrote the story. His
Okay.
son wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
Keith, and that was a co-production. And so after that movie was finished, it's for sale on Amazon and
Right.
all kinds of places.
Nice.
So you can get Christmas with the Dead, a sweet little horror movie if you want.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one.
It's pretty funny.
But so that movie Rainbow's End, was that filmed by some students?
That's graduates of SFA.
Now, were they students when they did that, or was this a...
No, this after they graduated.
Okay, because they wouldn't allow it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
they probably wouldn't have. But it's a great movie. I happen to be a bird agent in it.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it. I've seen some previews, and it just looks insane.
It is insane, but it's funny.
Yeah.
But those are the same people that later on did Flutter, which has been, on Netflix and it's done very, very well.
Yeah, interesting. So, as far as the music for these movies, how do you choose the music, the soundtracks?
Well, primarily we work in collaboration with the music department here. Stephen Elias has his graduate students score the movie for a grade or a class. So he scores our movie every year.
Okay.
In addition to that, sometimes we try, like for this year, I'm going to try to find unsigned bands that have something in the style of what I want. We're actually talking to Marshall Hance, who you probably know, and about helping us score these movies.
Sure.
Because I think it helps. Sometimes you can find a great band that maybe isn't famous yet, and the trade-off is, they get to be in a movie, and
Right.
we get to use their music.
So will you be in this movie?
No, I just wrote the script.
Okay.
I didn't. You don't want it to be a vanity project.
Well,
Written by, starring in, produced by.
Well, you've got M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, there's a few.
So he'll show up, like, you see the top of his head behind the newspaper.
Oh, I'll do a little cameo?
Yeah, so he'll be in it. So
I'll probably try to
Yeah,
get a little cameo. I'll be in the bar scene or something.
yeah, you're in the mirror reflection or something, walking by. Or
Yeah, like Alfred Hitchcock or something.
yeah. There you go. So that's how you do the music. Speaking of music, you have recorded a few albums. Was it 4 or 5?
Actually, if you started counting, I probably have 8 new albums or so, but a lot of them, I have Chameleon, Livin It Up, and then Miles and Miles of Texas. Those are 3 albums.
The Miles and Miles of Texas is the newest.
Yeah, and it's a tribute album to Bob Wills' music, or Western Swing. The other 2, I wrote the music and the song, the lyrics and all that stuff. And then Livin It Up was a song I did on opener, by the way, that I couldn't think of a while ago. But then there's also a lot of albums I've been on, compilation albums, like a Soap Opera Christmas or something like that.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I have a couple of unreleased albums sitting in the vault for when I die. So.
Well, hopefully that will be delayed for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
Even the listeners want that.
Right. So, do you have anything you're working on right now? I know you do. You perform on a fairly
the oldest town in Texas road show. We do.
Yeah.
Every 3 months or so.
So that's filmed here. What do you film that?
No.
You just sell tickets to it.
We just do a live show.
And it's at a warehouse here in town.
The old tobacco warehouse.
Old tobacco warehouse.
Downtown Nacogdoches.
Okay. Is that close to the mill down here, or is it?
No, it's up actually right off the square in Nacogdoches downtown.
Oh, okay.
It's on Pecan Street, 111 North Pecan.
Okay. All right.
Above Spring and Prince.
And so you'll have like somewhere between 10 and 15 performers at that show?
Sometimes we outnumber the audience, and it seats about 250. So, I mean, we have part of the neat quality about the show is that there's a standard set of performers. The band, for the most part, me and David Stallings as the co-host and stuff. We got Camo Elvis, who produces the show, but also is an Elvis guy. He is Elvis in East Texas. And then we plug in all kinds of young performers, because there's a real lively music scene here in East Texas.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of performers that are probably gonna be stars or recording artists, just haven't been discovered yet, or they're still in school.
Sure. Yeah.
So we try to present new artists every time we do a show.
Awesome.
We also have so many Elvises. We have, last show, we had it's like, we had Elvis, Camo Elvis, we had old Elvis, we had baby Elvis. It's like there's like a little 5-year-old kid that loves Elvis.
Really?
I think he's 9 now. But anyway, he comes out and he's got the whole Elvis thing. I don't know where he got the sideburns, but.
So Jake Penrod, does he play out there?
He has before. He's really blossomed and gotten famous on us, you know.
Yeah. So he does the Hank Williams impersonation.
Tribute. Yeah, show. But he's blossomed beyond that. He writes his own songs and does all that. And he won the American Politan Country Singer of the Year this year down in Austin and all that.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I haven't seen him perform, but I've seen him online and I've heard a lot of people talk about him.
He's really
from
good
Nacogdoches?
No, he's from Tyler.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Lindale, or wherever all the famous people come from up there.
Yeah. Surprisingly, there are quite a few famous people from all around. I call it Eastern Texas because you have, from Beaumont up to Texarkana, and I actually had someone tell me that Beaumont wasn't in East Texas, but they're thinking.
Well, it is Beaumont in.
Right. Well, it's in.
It's in the Golden Triangle.
They're thinking East Texas is where we live.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
But you have Northeast, Southeast, Mid, the Piney Woods, but it's all Eastern Texas,
Yeah, I mean, if you cut through Dallas and Austin down all the way to Eagle Pass, that's East Texas.
Yeah, right.
Really.
So, but anyway, there's quite a bit. I mean, you've got like Mark Chestnut,
Miranda Lambert,
Beyonce. She's from Houston.
There you go. Sonny Sweeney.
Yeah, I mean, all just there are really.
I wonder if Beyonce claims us.
I'm sure she claims Houston. Who wouldn't claim?
Yeah, she claims Houston.
Yeah, and Houston is in Southeast Texas, right?
Yeah. We can claim her.
Yes, definitely. So musically, what are your thoughts on the music community here in East Texas as far as the scene?
The scene
in general. Do you get out much and see many live bands?
I do somewhat. Part of it's I'm older, so my taste in music. I'm not a huge what they call red dirt kind of fan, because that's for college kids basically. And what that is, in my humble opinion, it's rock and roll that they've adjusted.
Yeah.
I prefer more traditional, old style country music stuff you won't hear on the radio. You might hear it on Red River Radio.
Like George Jones or older? Or
George Jones and things like Bob Wills and the way back old country music, Hank Williams and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just being old and having personal taste.
I'll be driving through Center and I turn on the country station. I think it's KQBB, and they'll have old Oak Ridge Boys songs and just older stuff. And then on Friday night they'll play the new Red Dirt stuff.
Right. Yeah. But if you turn on your standard, most popular FM station around here, it's all, there's only like, you would think there's only 8 artists in the country. That's Kenny Chesney and those kind of things. Have you ever seen that song? I forget the comedian's name, but he goes, "I'm just pandering." It's about
I'm pandering. And he's making.
I got a cap. I got a tractor. Pickup. That's kind of what country music sounds to me like.
That song, the things he says in that song. The reason it's so funny is because it's so true.
It is true.
Like, let me throw this phrase in there in the segue between the verse and the chorus and a certain little ditty, and it has a certain magic potion, and it has the right ingredients.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to someone recently about how Nashville has become real corporate in the sound of country, and that Texas is the anti-Nashville type thing, and in doing that, for it to fit within the Texas country realm, it has to have these certain things. And so it's like the other side of the coin where, you know, it's a predefined thing where there's, now there are a lot of artists who have, they're real original and they're on the Texas charts and everything, but you know, that is a part of the reality of it.
Yeah.
You know, you have the same promoters, the same booking agents, the same studios putting out all the same people. And
the reality is, even the people I liked from the early years, that was corporate Nashville too, though. It was just Nashville's. It's no different than Hollywood. It's a money-making proposition, and they change with the times. Back in the '70s, when Willie Nelson and Waylon were doing the real rebellion music in Texas, it's because they couldn't get work in Nashville. It didn't work for them. You know, they were starving.
Sure.
So they found a new territory to go to.
Yeah.
But it's always about money.
Yeah.
And not in the artist. The artist is always about, you know, they'll sign a deal for any amount of money just so they can make records.
Catch a break.
Catch a break.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Dixie Chicks went through that too.
Yeah, and you mentioned Lloyd Maines.
That's Natalie's dad.
Yeah, and I noticed I was in Lubbock and I saw there's a big Buddy Holly statue outside of the Buddy Holly Museum, and they have a wall with plaques with names on it, and your name is there.
Yes, I was inducted into the
you were
Buddy Holly Walk of Fame, 2002.
2002, and Lloyd Maines, his name was
very close right there.
Yeah, right next to yours. I thought that was really cool.
You know, I teased the people at up in Carthage at the Country Music, Texas Country Music Hall of Fame. I'm like, and they're like, never. And I'm like, hey,
right?
I'm okay for Lubbock, but I'm not okay for East Texas.
People, you know, Lubbock is really Texan.
Yeah,
it's on up there.
But I figure if I could just get both sides of Texas, that would be perfect before I.
Yeah. So there's quite a few in the Texas country music.
That was a hint, Tommy Ritter Smith, by the way.
So. Right. Hey, Tommy. So if someone wants to find out about the program here at SFA, where would you tell people to go?
Go to the School of Art at Stephen F. Austin State University, and or actually just call anybody at Stephen F. Austin State University and say, I don't want to be on television, I want to make movies. Because there's difference. There are people that make journalism and television here. That's one thing you can major in.
Yeah.
But we make movies. That's our whole thing. And we're a little known program in the school. We're full to the gills right now. So we don't advertise and we don't put it out there that much. But
so you get to capacity pretty quick. So
we're overflowing. You can only have, I think we have 80 something majors right now.
So the rule is,
and they run through this building all week long.
If you're at full capacity and on a regular basis, the rule in real estate is you raise your rent. So you could raise tuition.
Well, we can't do that. What we
kidding.
do is we welcome everybody, and then if you don't work hard, they wash you out. So that we still maintain.
So you have certain standards that you have to maintain. For like grade wise.
Well, grade wise, and also filmmaking is not about so much about grades. It's about commitment. And the thing that happens here, we have a separate building. And it becomes almost like a lot of kids don't really have kind of a home to go to, but here when you're in the film program, you're going to be editing. This building's open 24 hours a day. People are here working late into the night because they got to do all their other schoolwork. Right. Then they come here and they edit their movies, they make their art, and kids that stay in the film program are the ones that, for them, they're artists. Artists work at night and they're dedicated and they don't have that 9 to 5 mentality.
Right. Yeah. I don't have that mentality.
Well, I'm an actor. I certainly don't. You know?
Right.
An out of work actor, even worse. You know?
Well, yeah.
But the film kids don't get up early. They don't like getting up early. They just like to roll in. And
well, I get up at 6 o'clock every morning.
Wait, let me do a double take.
Right.
Really?
I'm joking. Usually 5:30.
He's joking.
We've gone over the film and local music and your albums and everything. If someone wants to get into your music, how would they find you?
I don't know if they're in release anymore. I know you could buy them on Amazon and all that kind of stuff, eBay, people sell my stuff, but I don't actively have a record company or anything right now. You know? At some point in your life, I think, like, especially having lived in Los Angeles for 30 years and really been on that treadmill and worked really hard, the fire in my belly to be out like hawking CDs and all that kind of stuff is not really there.
There's no value for you there. It's more of
you
appreciate the art form side.
Yeah, well, you start in that cycle. You start out wanting to be an artist, and I think you end up wanting to be an artist. And in between, there's that part about having kids and raising a family and doing all that stuff and making a living. And I think that's a natural progression of stuff. Sure. I love writing right now. I love the act of creation.
Writing music?
Well, I write some music, but right now it's writing scripts and books.
Okay. So are you working on a book right now?
I have a book finished. I'm just re-editing it.
Are you allowed to say what it is about?
Well, there's actually 2 books, but first one is, I think it was therapeutic, but it's about where I come from in West Texas and where it ends up
autobiographical, maybe.
Yeah, it's autobiographical, but it ends. The first book ends as I leave to go off to Los Angeles with $600 in my pocket.
Oh wow! So the whole first book is before.
The whole first book is just me being 5 years old. So
yeah.
Probably pretty boring to people, but maybe not. It's a real stream of consciousness. Being raised on a farm in West Texas is a very different sort of lifestyle, you know, especially if you're a kid that wants to be an actor.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, you got to learn to fight.
Yeah, yeah. So you didn't know what you didn't know. That's interesting. And so the second book, is it finished also?
No.
Okay.
But I write it. I've written a lot of it. It's published actually in Around the Town, that newspaper that comes out here. I write an article once a month for that, and all I do is I just go and click on one of my chapters or stories and then print that. Nice. And it's about a lot of my show business experiences.
Okay. And so you're still working on that one?
Yeah. Yeah, and neither one of them are published. I haven't approached anybody about.
Would you put them in the same book, or would it be 2 books?
It'll be 2 books. I'll lure you in with my show business book first,
right, and
then you'll buy my childhood later on.
Oh, that's interesting.
See?
Yeah.
Because, you know, most people want to know about show business.
Sure, yeah. They want to.
And it's still not a money-making thing unless it gets on the New York Times bestseller list, which it won't.
Yeah. I
mean, most soap actors have never had one on that.
So this is the ETX ROCKS Show, and I've been sitting here with Brad Maule here at SFA, Stephen F. Austin State University.
Sat up straighter. I just realized. Look at that. Wow. Instead, this old man's over there going,
yeah, I've been doing this the whole time. I'm Nathan Hunnicutt with Brad Maule here. We just finished another episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Be sure to visit us at etxmusic.com. You can watch or listen to the show at Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, Google Play, and a lot of other places. Be sure to check us out 3 times a week. Remember, support local music.
And ETX rocks.
Hey everybody, this is Edward Hancock II. Thanks for tuning in to Out of the Box with ETX Rocks.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX Rocks with
Boston Chris.
Aaron Watson, ETX Rocks.
ETX Rocks, Alan Fox Band.
Hey guys, we're the Morning Madhouse. I'm Carter.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Ginger.
It's the best podcast ever made in all of history.
Hi, this is Paul Bebo, and I ETX Rocks with Boston Chris Barnes. You're gonna love it.
ETX Rocks.
Hey, East Texas, DP here. ETX Rocks.
Hey, East Texas, we're Enduring House, a Christian rock band.
ETX Rocks!
Hey, this is Monty Pittman from ETX Rocks.
Hey, East Texas, Jaden Farnsworth, ETX Rocks.
Hey everybody, I'm David McCarty with the Gypsy Creek Band. As always, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, this is Chris Colston. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
The ETX ROCKS Show.
The ETX ROCKS Show.
Ho! Hey folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I just want to make sure you support local music.
Hi, East Texas. This is Chris Wayne.
And Crystal Clark with KYKX 1057. ETX rocks!
Hey, East Texas. We're Lady Chaz and the Tramps. And just remember, ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Todd Freeman of ETX Rocks with Boston Chris.
Hey, East Texas, I'm Waylon Hicks, and remember, ETX rocks.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the one and only SP, El Mexicano con Estilo. Make sure to support your local music, and ETX rocks.
Hello, we're one way home.
Hey, East Texas, this is Teaser.
Please continue to support local music.
And always remember, ETX rocks!
Howdy folks, this is Aaron Watson. Support local music and ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Chris Colston, and make sure you support local music
And ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Hannah Kirby. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy, ho!
Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, it's fair game. Y'all bring it. From Texarkana down to the coast and Dallas down to Houston and everything in between. We are ETX Rocks!